Welcome, you're watching World 360 with me, Akanksha Swaroop. Now, this week, India-Bangladesh relations are back on the brink. So much so, India's Parliamentary Committee report chaired by Shashi Tharoor has some rather stark observations. It states that the current situation in Bangladesh is India's biggest strategic challenge since 1971. Remember, the violent unrest follows the killing of radical anti-India leader Osman Hadi. But Dhaka's political noise has conveniently blamed New Delhi for Hadi's assassination, claims that have been firmly rejected by India because of a lack of evidence or even a visible joint communication between New Delhi and Dhaka. Moreover, India's diplomatic missions have been targeted by raging radicals, a Hindu man even mob lynched and burnt, bringing back the anti-minority horror of last year that followed the ouster of Sheikh Hasina. And not just that, Bangladesh's leading liberal media houses Pratham Alo and the Daily Star have been burnt down. In fact, 30 journalists had to be rescued. All of this teamed along with the anti-India rhetoric in Bangladesh has raised serious concerns, that of rising intolerance and instability in the nation. This as Bangladesh prepares for a February election and a July charter referendum. Remember, the Awami League is already banned and Hasina is in exile in India. Interestingly, the hardliner Jamatis are being tacitly backed by the current Yunus dispensation. But remember, Bangladesh's unfolding political crisis is not merely a product of just the last few months. It's deepened by the Dhaka-Islamabad alignment. This amid concerns in New Delhi over Pakistan's intelligence footprint, but ISI's presence in Bangladesh is a fault line that dates back to 1971, when Pakistan army was aided by the Razakars and Islamist militias. Together, they unleashed the worst mass brutality in Bangladesh. They raped lakhs of women and killed up to 3 million Bengalis. But amid this anarchy, perhaps Dhaka could do with a reminder in a week it also marked its Victory Day, a day that marks Bangladesh's freedom from the clutches of Pakistan in 1971. It was India's military support to Bangladesh's liberation forces, the Mukti Bahini, one that resulted in the independence of Bangladesh, then East Pakistan. It is this hard-fought freedom that the Yunus regime and the hardliners are forgetting today. What else explains the rise in Bangladesh's anti-India rhetoric? So, will India-Bangladesh ties be able to overcome political instability, ties that matter due to shared history, culture and past strategic agreements? All of them undone under the Yunus regime in just a matter of months. Sukanya Saha brings you the headlines.
Thank you, Akansha. And now, let's take you around the world in 2 minutes. Beginning with the growing chill in India-Bangladesh ties, anti-India protests have erupted across Bangladesh, forcing the closure of 2 Indian visa centres and triggering a rally outside the Indian consulate in Dhaka. Demonstrators, angered by tensions over political rhetoric, have put fresh strain on a relationship once seen as a cornerstone of South Asian cooperation. The unrest has also spilled into attacks on the press, with journalists in Dhaka reportedly targeted on the streets and major media houses, including Pratham Alo, set to blaze. It is a stark signal that public anger is no longer confined to diplomatic slogans and that media freedom and civil order are now part of the stress test for both capitals. Next up, we have Prime Minister Narendra Modi's high-stakes tri-nation tour. On his 3-nation tour of Jordan, Ethiopia and Oman, Prime Minister Narendra Modi picked up top civilian honours in quick succession: Ethiopia's highest award, the Great Honour of Nishan of Ethiopia, and Oman's highest national honour, the First Class of the Order of Oman. But this trip wasn't just about medals and handshakes. The focus stayed firmly on substance, pushing forward free trade talks, security, energy and logistics partnership, and positioning India as a long-term economic and strategic partner. The message is clear. As India widens its global footprint, Delhi's diplomacy is being noticed, rewarded, and also increasingly quoted. Moving to Australia's Bondi Beach shooting now, a place known for surf and sunsets turned into a crime scene. One of Sydney's busiest tourist spots was rocked by gunfire, leaving multiple casualties and triggering a major security probe. And now, India has stepped in to assist Australian authorities as investigators piece together the attack, underscoring how terror probes today cross borders faster than jet lag. Cooperation is the keyword, and Delhi is firmly in the room. And finally, we have External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar is in Israel for crucial talks with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, putting security, tech and counter-terror cooperation front and center. The message is clear: even in a volatile West Asia, the India-Israel strategic partnership isn't slowing down, it's locking in.
The Bangladeshi government has deployed heavy security measures. This as student leader Osman Hadi was buried near the Bangladesh National Assembly. The move has sparked controversy, with many questioning whether the government is inadvertently elevating an anti-India radical Islamist to martyrdom. Demands have emerged for a memorial to be built in Hadi's honor in Bangladesh, further fueling tensions. Now, Bangladesh government chief Mohammad Yunus also attended the last rites inside Dhaka University. Both Indian and Bangladesh army chiefs are in contact. Meanwhile, Amnesty International has taken cognizance of the matter and demanded a probe in the vandalism on media houses and, more importantly, the killing of the Hindu boy in Bangladesh, along with the killing of Hadi. They are saying that you ought to find the killers of Hadi. But has the killing of Hadi led to deterioration in the ties between Bangladesh and India? Let's try and get in some perspective. And for that, here on World 360, I'm joined in by Muhammad Ali Arafat, who's a former information minister of Bangladesh. Also joined in by Salahuddin Chaudhry, who's a renowned journalist from Bangladesh. Thank you so much, Salahuddin and Mr. Arafat, for joining in on World 360. So, Mr. Arafat, how do you see the situation unfolding going forward? Most importantly, Mr. Arafat, Hadi's killing is being seen as a tipping point to punish student leaders who were part of the July uprising, and they were the ones who were responsible for the ouster of Sheikh Hasina. The other factor is that much of the violence is being used to justify anti-India rhetoric, especially after Hasina's exile in India. How do you respond to this becoming a bone of contention in the current India-Bangladesh relations?
Okay, it's a very, very good question. See, if you look at the context in Bangladesh, who are these people are dominating right now our political landscape? All the radical Islamic elements, and all those people are the pro-Pakistani elements. Their predecessor were basically the Razakars, the collaborators with the Pakistani army back in 1971. So they know that the freedom fighters fought for the independence of Bangladesh, and India came into the picture and helped us. So together, the freedom fighters and the India army together, we defeated the Pakistani army and the collaborators. So they had to concede the defeat, and they could not come out of that shame. So their next generation are trying to take the revenge against it. That's why they went ahead and attacked and demolished the Bangabandhu's residence at road number 32. And I don't know whether you have followed it. One of the senior officials of the Pakistan's intelligence chief, he made a post on the social media that day, welcomed that act, saying that in his view, the conspiracy of separating Pakistan was conceived in that house. So you can see a clear trend and a pattern. They're attacking all the structures of the 71. So these people are the anti-71 group. These people are the pro-Pakistani group and the Islamic radicals. So therefore, they see India and Bangladesh and India's relationship through the lens of the Pakistani military intelligence. They do not consider India as another country or a neighboring country. They see India as an enemy country from the outset, right? Therefore, the objective is to, antagonize people through this anti-Indian rhetoric. Now, tell me one thing, just one thing. Let me give you an example. This Osman Hadi guy, he got killed. Where did he get killed? In Dhaka, in Bangladesh. He's a Bangladeshi citizen. Who killed him, apparently, the suspect is also a Bangladeshi citizen. And has there been any official announcement from the Yunus government that the killer may have crossed the border and entered India? No, right? So how India is involved into this thing? That Yunus government called the Indian High Commissioner asking him, in case the suspect leaves Bangladesh and enter India, then they want help. Let him do it first. The event happened in Bangladesh. The killer and the killed everyone is Bangladeshi citizen. Yunus government is blaming India. So they are intentionally building up against India just to capitalize that emotion among these, Islamic radicals, pro-Pakistan elements, to support them and getting some kind of benefit out of it.
Salahuddin Chaudhry, when we talk about the upcoming election and the July Charter referendum, what is your understanding of this referendum and the upcoming election, especially when you say that the ongoing crisis is manufactured, deliberately keeping the timing in mind?
You see, Akanksha, all the Islamist parties, they were demanding holding of referendum before the election, because this referendum gives the legality to the July Charter, so-called. And what is July Charter? It turns our constitution null and void, meaning through this referendum, even if it is held on 12th of February, immediately after this so-called election and the July Charter, Yunus will emerge into the Ayatollah of Bangladesh and turn the country into a caliphate. So the election, even if it is held on 12th of February, it is not going to have any impact in the politics of Bangladesh because Yunus already has his own agenda through the referendum to remain in power indefinitely.
All right, many thanks to you, Salahuddin Chaudhary and Mr. Arafat for joining in on World 360. With that, let's